Hello, everybody, and welcome to the continuity report for January 4th, 2025. This is our second season and our first episode of 2025, so welcome to the show. I am Merwad. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, who still will not give me any lottery numbers, we're going to talk about Sci-Fi 2025, the Wicked box office, Grosse Pointe Garden Society, Crime Thrillers with a Typo 2025, and Dune's Curse. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com. Our bandwidth is kind of wonky today. I don't know what's going on. One place says everything's fine, another place says everything is wonky. We'll see what happens. Go over to ohmtown.com, though. Regardless, become a citizen, and you can help decide what articles we talk about. So go over there. We're also on YouTube and on Twitch, podcast, Discord, Patreon, TikTok, Carrier Pigeon, Superb Owl. Owls have really long legs. You just can't see them. They're like really long legs, like tiny owl long legs.
Well, I guess tall is their body. It's
Like-
worth Googling.
Yeah, look at it. Owls have legs. Go look it up. Anyway, and you find out about that kind of stuff when you watch all of our shows. I'm not going to tell you which one.
You have to go watch all 1700 plus.
Yeah. We started year 4 of Non Sequitur News, which used to be called ohmTown Daily News Show, but now we just go by Non Sequitur News because we're always all over the place. Continuity Report, though, is one of our 3 weekend shows on Saturday. And then we have 3 new shows, different topics and everything, on Sunday. And each of those 3 shows become either the Saturday or Sunday edition of Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition. All right. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor. What?
Ready to go?
I am. Although my processing power says otherwise.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. Let's get going. First article is over 10 most anticipated sci-fi shows coming in 2025. Pretty jazzed about this. I'm dropping frames again. I don't understand it. I don't know. We'll have to reboot everything. Maybe. Okay, yes, I'm focusing, Grasshopper.
The fact that there are 10 sci-fi shows already is a good start.
It's pretty exciting. Although, I know of one of these. Okay, we'll just get into it. So the article is by Ben Prothero over at screenrant.com, and they say For All Mankind. And it says here that Apple TV Plus is making the most interesting and exciting sci-fi shows on TV. I agree. For All Mankind imagines an alternative history in which the space race never slowed down and the Russians beat the Americans to the first lunar landing. Each season of For All Mankind leaps forward a decade into the future. If this trend continues, season 5 will take place in the 2010s. The writers have stated that the plan has always been to produce about 7 seasons, so things could get even weirder as the timeline moves into the 2020s and beyond.
The premise sounds interesting.
So it would go into the 2030s and then stop, barring this thing being an absolute success. But this says this is what season? Season 4 For All Mankind. Season 5 was confirmed. I've not watched a single.
No, and that's actually a lot of seasons for one of these shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're typical 8 episodes, right? 8 to 10.
But a lot of shows get canceled after, say, 2 seasons or 1
3.
season.
Yeah, or 1. Yeah. Especially when I get invested in it. If I were to put $1 into it as a bet, it would cool it. Anyway, let's get going. Invincible Season 3. I haven't seen any of this. But it's animated. After an electric first season, Invincible took a long time to deliver season 2. Fans won't have to endure a long wait. Season 3 is coming out in February of 2025. Invincible is based on the comic book series by Robert Kirkman. And its 2 seasons so far have produced a bloodier and even more violent alternative to most other superhero movies and TV shows.
Yikes.
Yep. Blade Runner 2099 Amazon Prime Video, release date to be announced. Michelle Yeoh and Hunter Schafer being the biggest names. This suggests that Blade Runner 2099 will focus on a new story within the same universe. This is the sequel, but in a TV format, to Blade Runner 2049, which is the sequel to Blade Runner.
Well, the franchise alone and the actors might be reason to check that out.
So this
I
is
only
on,
know Michelle Yeoh. I don't know the other actor listed.
Yeah, I don't know either. Sounds good though. I'm all over Blade Runner. Love the premise of it. Love the world building of it. My understanding is that Blade Runner is in the same universe as Alien.
Oh, that's right. Didn't they share a director?
And the world, there's a company that is in Blade Runner that's also in.
Oh, okay.
So it says no matter what the show is about, the prospect of returning to the strange dystopia is reason enough for fans to be excited. Then there's Daredevil, Alien Earth, which is an effects episode or show.
It's a show, not a movie. And same thing with Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil, Born Again, Disney Plus, release on March 4th. I swear this is going to flame out. I'm predicting this
because of the Marvel fatigue.
No, because of Daredevil. I don't think that there's enough there. But we'll see. The show has been in development for at least 3 years, but its release date is finally approaching. Born Again will be the continuation of Daredevil with the added bonus that it connects to the rest of the MCU. It's the Buzz Lightyear of the MCU. I just don't see it really connected, but I am not a graphic novel aficionado. Anyway, Alien Earth, the Alien franchise first TV show, has been a long time coming. Ever since Disney acquired the rights to 20th Century Fox in 2019, they've had plans to expand the franchise. Well, here we are. Alien Romulus. Now the next step is Alien Earth, which will be on FX in summer, which I think is a coffin nail. We'll see.
We will see.
This puts this series after Prometheus in the Alien franchise timeline, but just 2 years before the events of the original Alien movie. It's possible that Alien Earth will directly lead into Alien, with the Weyland-Yutani Corporation sending the Nostromo to acquire a xenomorph specimen after seeing its destructive potential on Earth. I don't know how.
That would be neat if they lined it up like that. I'm sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry about. I don't know how on Earth they can have an alien on Earth, because it would be a target-rich environment and a massive world to lose an alien in, right? So the xenomorph can just spit out a bunch, and they don't spit out, but they can birth a bunch of face huggers that are going to go out and turn into xenomorphs themselves and do the same thing, although they're queens and drones apparently. But they transform, they morph into whatever biology, they take the biology of whatever host they have. And so they become kind of more human, but still predatory. They're consumers of life. So pretty wild. So Black Season,
I don't know
season
the
7.
significance of that. I haven't seen any of the franchise.
Oh my gosh, that hurt. Okay, Black Mirror season 7. I've actually watched a couple of the seasons, but I lost track of it. I think it kind of lost its way, but Black Mirror is supposed to be pretty amazing still.
Is that an anthology, or is it something that's a continuing story?
My understanding is it's a continuing story. But after the first 2, like I said, I've lost track of it. But they say after the excruciating 4-year gap between seasons 5 and 6, Black Mirror seems to be back for more regular programming, with season 7 confirmed for 2025. I haven't watched past like maybe 2 episodes of season 2 or something like that. Anyway, Charlie Brooker has stated that season 7 will be a return to the OG Black Mirror. 5 of the new episodes are being kept quiet, but fans can look forward to a sequel, USS Callister, with Jesse Plemons, Kristen Milioti, and the rest of the cast returning. USS Callister is one of the best Black Mirror episodes, so it's a good choice for the anthology show's first sequel. I don't know. I'm starting. Maybe I've got Black Mirror confused.
Well, I
with
wasn't sure if I had it mixed up with another series.
So. Because I think we both saw the very first one, but it's been forever, so I haven't looked back. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back, and we'll play catch up with it. So, The Last of Us season 2, it's on HBO. That's the zombie thing. Supposedly contains some stories related to the main narrative that didn't necessarily play out on screen. Caitlin Dever has been cast as Abby, a key character in season 2, while Catherine O'Hara has been joined the cast as an undisclosed role. Let's see. We'll keep on going. Severance, if you've never heard of Severance, is an Apple TV Plus show that a person has a life outside of the company and a life inside the company, but once you break a certain barrier within the company, you lose all access to your historical memories and you only live the life within the company. And then when you clock out, you forget everything that has to do with your life inside the company and you regain access to your memories outside the company. It's quite fascinating.
Apple is carrying the day in this list.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even stuff that's on a different platform is still Apple, Disney, that type of a thing. Stranger Things season 5, we've been waiting for the closure of this. This should be the final season of Stranger Things. It's supposed to be coming in 2025, but we'll actually see. It just says release date to be announced. Can't really get into it because you have to go back and
Well, the fact
everything.
that it's only season 5, 9 years after it started, tells us something. I mean, that's been a common theme, I think, in a few of these.
Yeah. I think pandemic pretty much screwed up everything. And then Andor season 2, again, Disney Plus, April 22nd is when it's supposed to kick off. The story will span 4 years as the Rebel Alliance continues to develop, so there's a chance that more characters from Rogue One or other Star Wars movies will make an appearance. It was originally envisioned as a 5-season story, but Disney has confirmed that season 2 will end the show by leading directly into the events of Rogue One. Hopefully less is more. I think that sucks.
Yeah, it is. Andor, well, I don't know. I thought Andor was a good thing because it did kind of stand out in terms of cinematic style, I guess, from some of the other Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, I like it. Unfortunately, season 2 says that it'll end. All right. Let's keep going. Next article is over in the Continuity Report. Wicked movie box office flies past another major milestone despite its digital release. It's passed a major domestic milestone after more than a month in theaters. The 2024 movie, which was directed by John M. Chu, is adapted from the first act of Wizard of Oz prequel stage musical of the same name and follows the friendship between Glinda, Ariana, it's Grande Butera now.
Oh, okay.
And Elphaba Cynthia Erivo. So this, I found this really fascinating. It's kind of like Dune became part 1 of of 2, maybe 3 movies.
Right. Is that what happened with Wicked too?
Wicked is 1/2. It is part 1.
Did people know that going into it?
Not.
Oh, I bet that caused an annoyance.
When it first came out, people went in and it ended and said Part 1. So the Wicked release kicked off the weekend before U.S. Thanksgiving, with its gross quickly rising to make it the highest grossing Broadway musical adaptation of all time, which I don't know if it's saying much, because Grease was the other one for North America and Mamma Mia was worldwide.
Oh, okay. But Grease
So,
was quite a while ago.
yeah, exactly. Unless they're talking about some remake that we missed. Anyway, per Deadline, as of Saturday morning, Wicked is projected to earn a 3-day domestic box office total of $10.2 million by the end of its 7th weekend. This will bring its cumulative domestic total to $450.7 million, making it the third movie of 2024 to pass the $450 million domestic milestone behind Deadpool and Wolverine and Inside Out 2. It's also the 29th movie to ever pass that domestic box office milestone in history. This is the case even though the movie is already available for purchase and rental on at-home digital platforms as of December 31st, 2024. So, I don't know. It earned back the $300 million budget of both movies combined.
So that's interesting. And I wonder, and I'm sorry, what is the status of its streaming?
I don't know about streaming, but you can purchase it. I don't think it's streaming. It says rental and purchase, but not streaming. It's a different animal.
Correct. But I think that's pretty interesting because it's still doing well at the box office, even though you have these other means to get it. So
people want to see it on the big screen.
Will this impact future movie releases?
I doubt it. Unless it has some serious hype, and not. This
has a musical star starring in it.
Right.
People have generally heard of it because it was on Broadway for a long time. It might still be on Broadway.
And for as far as I understand it, Cynthia Erivo apparently crushes it, although she gives me some heebie-jeebie mojo. Because somebody edited she gave me bad energy after she lashed out at somebody making the artwork more apropos to the stage, I guess, whatever the bill, the playbill. The playbill was, they modified the poster to be more like the playbill, I guess, and they got bent out of shape about it. Anyway, it says the outstanding performance of Wicked is likely also good news for the upcoming Wicked for Good. Not only is it the 2025 movie now a sequel to one of the biggest domestic hits ever, it's inextricably linked to it in the story that 2024 movie begins is not complete until the end of the second movie. So I guess we'll see what happens to the sequel.
So are the studios making the part 1 and part 2 to force people to watch the second one, or are they really just getting into longer stories? Because typically they've done sequels.
I don't know. What say you? What do you think? Is the story so big that you can't distill it down to 2 hours?
Dune, I would say probably yes. Wicked, I think you could probably do a sequel, but I don't know.
Man, there is a lot to Dune.
And I feel like Dune, there's so much intentionality. Like Denis Villeneuve, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Villeneuve. Like, I can't imagine that was just like a let's get audiences in kind of move. It just doesn't seem like that style.
Dune is just huge. I can see why Wicked, because it's a musical, so it has these long sequences, right?
That's true. So it's perhaps harder to get more storytelling in, although sometimes the musical sequences are a way to make the plot move too.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. The 2025 sequel could gross even higher. I think that it probably... Here's where it's going to play out. People are going to go and see the second part, and those who didn't go see the first part are going to go, well, shit, now it's both here, so let's go see both parts. And that's going to amplify.
If they're smart, they'll do a re-release of the first part at the theaters.
Into the theaters and do a 1-2 punch. So twice as long, 5-hour show. Boom. Yeah. Hey, man. A lot of us have actually done those long, like Lord of the Rings, 12-hour watches because they're so big. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. Grosse Pointe Garden Society trailer with Melissa Fumero starring in a murder mystery show. This isn't Grosse Pointe.
It is not. It's just a city that I think is sometimes selected for various shows.
Interesting. So what happens in Grosse Pointe Garden Society trailer? The video introduces the show's main cast, including Fumero as Birdie, Anna Sophia Robb as Alice, Aja Naomi King, How to Get Away with Murder as Catherine, and Ben Rappaport as Brett. So the article is over at comingsoon.net. And this is Fumero is from Melissa Fumero is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right, which is interesting because that's of course comedy. So
she looks very
interesting to see her
upset
in this.
Here.
Yeah,
I feel sad. So it's set to start February 23rd. Where is it supposed to be? Does it say?
I thought it said BBC. Didn't that go by?
Did that?
No, NBC.
Oh, NBC. Oh yeah, NBC
two
has
of the
released.
Letters.
Yeah, missed it by N much. So NBC has released the Grosse Pointe Garden Society trailer for its newest murder mystery starring Brooklyn Nine-Nine alum Melissa Fumero. So Grosse Pointe Garden Society is written and executive produced by Jenna Bans from Good Girls and Bill Krebs' Ugly Americans, with Maggie Kiley directing. Additional cast members are across the board, a bunch of people. I'm not going to get into all of that, but I want to know more about what it actually is.
Peacock.
We'll have to keep an eye out for this. The characters suddenly find themselves burying a dead body in their neighborhood's exclusive garden. It highlights the challenges they'll face in order to keep their dark secret hidden. I don't know if I want a documentary about how to deal with the complexity of hiding a body in a garden.
Well, and that also doesn't suggest that that's a long-term story either. But I suspect as some of these mystery shows go, it'll lead to other events and
have a murder board all in and of itself. All right. Well, this one is a quick one. Poor thing's all sad, cry. That's what happens when you have to hide a body. So how about in the Continuity Report? That's the next article. 10 highly anticipated crime thrillers releasing in 2025. We can go through all of this really quick, Ariana Alvarado. Again, we're dropping frames again. I don't understand it. Hey, you know what? So The Prosecutor starts on January 10th, 2025. Critical reviews that have come from the Prosecutor's initial release praise the film's gripping crime story and stylish fighting choreography. It's Donnie Yen's The Prosecutor will be available for a wider range of audiences to enjoy in 2025. Directed, produced, and led by famed martial artist, The Prosecutor is just one of many upcoming films starring Yen. The film result... Go ahead.
Is this actually a crossover with John Wick? Or is it just starring the same actor?
The last film Yen starred in was in John Wick Chapter 4. In the film, Yen plays Kane, a blind assassin tasked with killing Keanu Reeves' John Wick.
Sorry, he was an assassin there. Here he's a prosecutor, I guess.
So maybe not crossover. That would
maybe
be an interesting.
It'd be like the wrong side.
So the film revolves around his character, a prosecutor who puts his career at risk to help a wrongfully accused defendant and find the real culprit. This seems short-lived. Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. That starts January 10th, so next week. This is the first Den of Thieves movie was largely reminiscent of acclaimed heist films like The Heat. And though it didn't quite live up to its potential, there is still much anticipation regarding the 2025 sequel. Once enemies, now partners, it'll be exciting to see how Butler and Jackson's on-screen alliance looks. Exclusive images in the trailer for Den of Thieves 2 Pantera appear to be just action-packed and entertaining as its predecessor. I never watched the original Den of Thieves.
Yeah, I have not seen the original.
Alarum, January 17th, 2025. Is that who I think it is?
I think it is.
Led by Sylvester Stallone? That guy? Okay, I suppose. And Scott Eastwood.
Which I wonder if he's related.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Alarum tells the story of spies on the run from agencies hunting them down. Dun, dun, dun. Black Bag. Centering spy films around couples sets up an intriguing concept as stronger ties and loyalties are tested by the job. Such a concept is the premise of Steven Soderbergh's upcoming thriller Black Bag. The film's Woodhouse couple is played by Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. They're supported by a cast. Black Bag is sure to be nothing short of tense and gritty, according to that author.
Whoa.
A Working Man, which is basically, I think, like, what was the other one? The Beekeeper. I was just about to say The Beekeeper. It's the first freaking line right there. So from The Beekeeper and Fury director, The Working Man is the Beekeeper. It's just, what? Why is this guy in front of somebody aiming a gun?
Well, he'll probably be able to get out of that.
How about Drop? Drop's thrills are likely to be accompanied by an overall eerie tone, setting it apart from other 2025 crime thrillers. The film sees Faye's character, a widowed mother, terrorized by a series of anonymous messages following her first date in years. No thanks. How about The Amateur?
Sounds rather creepy.
The Amateur. Littell's novel is once again being adapted into a film, this time one directed by James Hawes. It's a thrilling 80s spy movie based on Robert Littell's novel of the same name. Everything okay?
Yeah, who also wrote Slow Horses. That's worth a watch.
With Rami Malek as a CIA cryptographer who loses his wife after a terrorist attack.
I missed it. Sorry, I was thinking the author of Slow Horses was the same, but the director is the same.
They're the director, I guess. Oh, well, Hawes' work includes episodes of Penny Dreadful, Black Mirror, and more recently, Slow Horses. Gotcha. But, right? So, Robert Littell's novel of the same name, The Amateur. I don't know, you might read that.
Right. I think most of the ones based on novels are usually stronger writing, but not always.
Yeah, I mean, if the name is extremely or if the book is extremely popular, then everything that follows, as long as they stay true to the work. We found that with, well, many a book, the Reacher series, in particular.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
When it deviates from the source material, it sucks long term. Doesn't have legs long term, but when it sticks to it, boy, oh boy.
That's right.
Orenda. The upcoming film of the release of the film certainly isn't as acknowledged as other releases in the United States, but it's still a film worthy of interest. Set on a remote island, Orenda explores darker themes of guilt when the journey of two women crosses paths. One woman arrives in the island to bury her deceased husband, and the other is a priest who left her church after feelings of doubt. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Wow. I mean, I'm surprised that's still going. I mean, it's always a fun franchise, but
it looks like everybody's coming back. Joining the crews in the film are the other Mission Impossible actors. Wow.
That's surprising to me.
Yep. I don't know what they're actually going to do. It says the Final Reckoning's trailer is packed with familiar action sequences and dangerous circumstances audiences are used to seeing Ethan in. However, with the possibility that it's the last installment in the franchise, the safety and happy endings for beloved characters can't be guaranteed. But they don't talk about.
They're going to have to have like a successor or something to Ethan Hunt if they're going to continue this.
Eventually. Then Ballerina. This is what do you call it?
Like a spin-off of John Wick, I think.
It is a spin-off of John Wick. Parabellum and Chapter 4, Ballerina, acts as a spin-off to the beloved series of films with Ana de Armas leading their a ballerina that is a trained assassin. And
okay.
I think you actually see them in
number 4, I think.
Yeah, when he goes back to his house, not his house, but his family, his consortium. I don't know how they are laid out because
right.
Certain people are recruited into the family. Anyway, Ballerina was originally set to be released in the summer of 2024. However, it was delayed a year and went through multiple reshoots. The film's which does not bode well for success. But I think Ana de Armas actually kind of kicks ass in other shows that she's been in.
True, but is an audience of John Wick necessarily going to buy into this?
Oh, man, she's charismatic. She's got acting chops. I'm pretty sure that she can swing a bat just as hard as John Wick. I don't know, man. I like this. I love the idea of like a ballerina being an assassin.
Oh, yeah. Hitter, I mean, it's fun.
And
it works.
Yeah. And the John Wick, so unbecoming, like people wouldn't suspect, right? That Ana de Armas would be a cleaner. Now, what I'm really, really interested in is the kinetic energy that John Wick created, the series created in the world building of the Wickiverse. That's what I want to see. I want to see more of the world building. Can't wait for this because John Wick is no more, right? Like he's out of the game. He's supposedly dead.
That's what we think.
He's not going to be in this. He cannot be in Ballerina.
Oh, no, he won't.
Anyway, very interested in this, but that's the end of this article. So go over to Screen Rant and check this out, Ariana Alvarado. There's much more in the articles that we talk about. We kind of summarize it and give our perception of things. I hope that you enjoy the show. But the last article for tonight is Dune Prophecy. It says, continues a 25-year-old Dune franchise curse that started with the books. Dune Prophecy is the latest title in a long line of a franchise curse that began with the Dune novel House Atreides, which I actually love. House Atreides, House Harkonnen, I love it. Those were the last 2 books that I read, House Atreides, House Harkonnen.
Oh, okay. Out of that series?
Out of the series, yeah. And I actually only read Dune, not Heretics and all of the others, because I didn't like the context of all the rest of it. But I'm really interested in the Duneverse as well. There's a game coming out that's an MMO style game. I'll actually end up playing it, I think, on the stream. So won't go into that. But Frank Herbert wrote the original novel in 1965, changing the landscape of science fiction media forever, for sure. Even serving as an inspiration for Star Wars. The Dune movies have so far been adaptations of Frank Herbert's original work, with the next film being developed based on Dune Messiah. HBO's sequel series, Dune Prophecy, on the other hand, is based primarily on Brian Herbert. Prequel, sorry. The HBO's prequel series Dune Prophecy, on the other hand, is based primarily on Brian Herbert, the son, and Kevin J. Anderson's 2012 book Sisterhood of Dune, which is apparently based off of notes from Frank Herbert.
Right. I mean, who knows? It's hard to know if it attached to the original plot, right? Because he wasn't there to see it through.
Yep. Charles Papadopoulos over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. And I'm really curious what the curse is, right? The series has been met with much stellar reception than 2024's Dune Part 2 with a mediocre 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's worth breaking down why. So do they say what the curse is right away?
I don't think Screen Rant normally does. They kind of dribble the information out.
Gotcha. So the Dune Prophecy is set 10,000 years before the movies in Dune's timeline. So much earlier in the Bene Gesserit construction. I don't know if... Well, the timeline for Dune is massive. It's like, I think it spans 24,000 years.
Oh, it's like that other series. The three body problem or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one. And then oh God, where they have the morning, day, and
yeah, it's Foundation. I think
Foundation. It has this massive timeline too. Okay, so the non-Frank Herbert Dunes weren't as good as the originals. That's kind of no shit news because you've got the sun and notes. So you don't even have the energy. You don't have the personality of the character. You don't have the spirit of Dune. You only have the ghost of Dune.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I love the world building. Like I read House Carino. Sorry, I read House Carino and House Atreides. I have the Machine Crusade, but I haven't read it. Balerian Jihad, I've read. I've actually read more of these than I thought. Dear God, it's been so long. Anyway, the main issue is that they exist in the shadow of a masterpiece, and they primarily lack the thematic depth and nuance that makes the 1965 novel so legendary. But it's like Lord of the Rings and like the Silmarillion and all of this stuff. As you deviate away from the core timeline and all of that, and you get into the minutiae and all of the accoutrement of the thing, unless you have the energy of that author, it loses it. You know, you're just further and further away from that sun, and it gets colder and colder as you go away from it. So Dune Prophecy cannot compete with Denis Villeneuve's Dune movies. I would probably agree with that because the Denis Villeneuve movies are massive in scale. So unless they have the same budget, you're not going and charisma that the characters have, you're not going to be able to compete. So I agree. Not only have Denis Villeneuve's movies already told what arguably is the best story in the Dune universe, but they've also done so with respectable quality and visual beauty that anything less is painfully noticeable. Dune Prophecy is shot well and matches the films in many aspects, but the production value but it's not nearly as cinematic and doesn't generate excitement. I want more of the Denis Villeneuve scope and world building. I want to go to X. I want to see more about the Navigators' worlds, like what they do. I want to know more. But I don't think we're ever going to get any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it almost seems like such a tremendous undertaking, too. And I feel like the audiences that maybe aren't familiar with the books are attached to the characters in Dune, which is good, except to go in any of these other directions, you're going to lose all that.
Yeah. And the other books don't even have those characters anymore, right? Because the scale is so
or the
long.
timeline or whatever. Exactly. Yeah. But then it's like what you're building up with the audience, you can't, it might have, I don't know how they could have done it differently.
Yeah. So if the Dune saga hopes to continue after Messiah without Denis Villeneuve on board, there are going to be some challenges for the franchise to take over. Not to mention the absence of Timothée Chalamet's Paul Atreides could immediately damage the box office results, limiting the resources Warner Brothers would be willing to expend on Children of Dune and the subsequent sequels. Dune Prophecy has highlighted potential long-term issues for this franchise. Yeah, that's all.
That's interesting. Really we hadn't read ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can see the writing on the wall without reading all of the tea leaves within the books. But the time scale just doesn't allow for continuity of the charisma on the screen.
Frank Herbert, why weren't you thinking ahead decades to the movies?
Yeah. Now it's my turn to throw error messages. All right, folks. Well, we're going to go and get our... No, I can't say that. I was going to say our spice supply out and start hallucinating. But...
I thought we were going to ride some sandworms.
Oh, we can ride some sandworms. Back to the front page of the continuity report at ohmtown.com. Very good. Wow. It's usually... This is usually
Did I get back some Dune cred?
A stupendous amount of Dune cred. I was going to say something about the sandworm popcorn bucket, but we'll just leave that alone. Anyway, I am gonna fold space and see the many machines on Ix. I love the idea of Ix. It's such a creepy. There's no aliens, by the way. Everybody you see in the Duneverse are humans. Even the creatures, the creepy creatures that you see.
Which is interesting, because I think if somebody wasn't familiar with the books, they would say otherwise.
Yeah, there's no aliens. Even like all of the other like houses and stuff like that, they're so divergent from what humans see as humans that like even the Harkonnens are a weird variation. You'd think that they're aliens, but they're humans who evolved after 24,000 years of timeline. And that's just, we've only seen like just Atreides, Carino, we haven't really seen. Harkonnen. My God, there's so much more. Anyway, I'm Merwat. I'm saying bye. So will the AI.
I thought you almost called me a sandworm. Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the continuity report. Don't forget to subscribe.
A sentient Bene Gesserit AI. Bye, everybody. Help! Get out of my mind.